So the other day I was browsing on social media and apparently the Chanel Maxi XXL flap is really hard to get. So then it got me thinking, is that bag now the next Chanel it bag? Or is the Preppy Coco supposedly the Chanel next it bag? Then I was wondering what happened to all the Chanel past it bags? They were definitely popular at that moment, but then what happened to them now? I also have that question, why does every Chanel it bag seems to disappear eventually? When I say the it bag, I mean the Chanel 19, if anyone still remember this bag, the Chanel 22 and the Chanel 25. Because I swear, every single bag here, they started off really hard to get. And then soon later, you start seeing everybody jumping on the bandwagon. And then a few years after, you see all these bags, it's like flocking the resale market. And as you can see here, I own all three of these bags. I was asking myself, did I just buy into the hype and then keep moving on to the next new one? Or do I actually still use them today? So in this video today, I want to talk about what happened to all these it bags once the hype is gone. I think let us just start with this Chanel 19 because this one is the oldest Chanel it bag amongst all three here. So as the name suggests, this Chanel 19 launched in 2019. It also represents Chanel Coco's birthday, which is on the August 19. This bag was actually the last bag Karl Lagerfeld was involved in designing together with Virginie Viard. Sadly though, Karl actually didn't get to see its success. He passed away on February the 19th, 2019. If you look at this bag, right, I can really see Kyle's vision in this bag, especially like the bigger, more chunky CC logo, those chunky chains. Just the look and how bold it is, it feels really Kyle to me. So when this bag first came out, right, it was quite controversial. Many people seems to think that this is just going to be the seasonal bag. It may not actually stay in production for long. And if you look at this bag, right, don't you agree that it is actually very loud and very masculine? You see the oversized quilting, the puffiness, and a little bit of slouchy and relaxed look compared to the classic flap. It just looks very different than the classic flap that we are used to, which they are more structured, feminine, and smaller diamond quilting. And do you also remember back then, right? Everyone was so obsessed about keeping their bag like really structured, not losing its shape. And we were like obsessed with the bag should look symmetrical and it can stand up on its own. And if you see the bag slouching and losing its shape, this is like the number one deal breaker for most people. I am just taking out my organizer and the chain from the bag to show you how slouchy and soft this bag is without the organizer. Can you see the difference with and without organizer? Chanel 19 actually meant to look like that, soft and malleable, and it felt like the modern take of Chanel flap. The opinions were very divided at that time. Some people of course love it because it feels very different and very fresh from the classic design. But some people felt that this was way too much, too loud, and also too far away from the Chanel classic. I did not buy this bag right away when it first launched in 2019. And to be honest, I was very skeptical at that time. It does look very loud to me. I just needed the time to let it slowly grow on me. I cannot tell you how many videos I watched or how many blogs I read to get review from people who own this bag. From the review I read, everyone who owned this bag, they seem to like it. They seem to say that they love how spacious this bag can be compared to the classic Chanel style, and also the very functional back pocket. Yeah. So this is a very deep pocket where you can easily fit your phone in, as opposed to the Mona Lisa pocket on a lot of the Chanel classic flaps. Chanel 19 in leather, they do come in goat skin as well, but mine is the shiny lambskin. So I actually waited 2 years before I joined the Chanel 19 family, and that is after many price increases. Yes. And if you ask me, did I regret not getting this bag sooner, knowing that I am pulling the trigger in the end anyway? And I would say no, not really, because sometimes you just have to buy the bag when the timing is right. Timing is really important because sometimes you want the bag right, but maybe you are still saving for the bag like me, or maybe you have another bag in your bag wish list that is higher up in the priority. That's why I say timing is really important. And just like what I did 2 years later, I bought this bag when I was ready. If you see the condition of this bag, it still looks very new. Even though I already had it for 5 years, I don't think there is any corner wear even. The shape is perfect as well. If anything, there is a little bit of the leather looks like it's pushing in. That is because of how this chain strap rests on top of this bag. This is how I saw the bag, so I think over the time it's unavoidable that it kind of put weights on the leather and then slowly the leather sinks in. Because this bag is so soft and malleable, right? If you just fix it and push it upright, it looks fine again. The thing that I love the most about this bag is this top handle chain strap. I used to wear this bag as a crossbody bag because of my height. I can't really seem to wear this bag as a shoulder bag. If I don't crossbody this bag, the shoulder strap here, they do not stay on my shoulder. See, it just slides off very easily, despite people saying that this leather or shoulder strap here should mold to your shoulder the more you wear, but for me it's not the case. So now I actually like to wear this as a top handle bag. When there is pros, there are always cons. One thing that I do not like about this bag is the weight. Guys, this bag is actually quite heavy because of the chain strap. Can you see how chunky it is? Not only the shoulder strap is chunky, the top handle chain is also chunky. So this actually adds a lot of weight to the bag. The leather on the back itself, I don't think is that heavy. I think majority of the weight actually come from the strap. And because of how chunky both the chain strap and the top handle strap are, when you put it down on a hard surface, you have to be careful because you can make a really loud noise. A good indicator to tell if a bag is still very popular and high in demand is to look into the resale market. How is this bag doing now on the resale market, you may ask? I can tell you, not very well, to be honest. Just like now, I don't think you hear people talking about Chanel 19 anymore. And for this reason, I reckon you can find it easily few $1,000s under retail in a really good condition. I'm gonna put some reference up if I manage to find some on the resale market for your reference. So now the verdict. Do I still like it? Big yes. Do I still use my Chanel 19? Not really. But I don't plan on letting it go. This bag is really special in my collection. It is one of the very few soft and puffy bags that I own in my collection, especially since I don't have the Chanel boy bag, right? And I feel like this kind of gives the more edgy, more masculine side of Chanel. And yes, this bag has had its moment, and then it kind of faded now. I think it also because a newer one came along. which is the Chanel 22 bag. And again, as the name suggested, this Chanel 22 launched in 2022 during the spring summer collection. It is from the same collection when we see the heart shaped bag on the runway. That is from the same collection. This one is the creation of Virginie Viard. And again, same story. When this bag was out, very super controversial. If you remember, people used to call this the garbage bag, especially the one in black. There were many not very nice comments about this bag when it first launched. Many people say that this design looks so lazy. Basically, it just looks like a giant drawstring bag in leather and with the Chanel letter at the front, and they call it the new Chanel e-bag. And then, of course, slowly, we all get influenced because it's Chanel. And then you're starting to hear people say that,
oh my god, this bag is so practical and it's so good for everyday use, and people can't seem to stop reaching for this bag.
finally, you get a Chanel bag where you actually don't have to restrict yourself of how much item you can carry with you in the bag. Look at this bag, guys. It truly is like a really big bag. With this small size, you can even carry a laptop with you. Not only this bag fits a lot, but it's also very lightweight compared to the Chanel 19 that I showed you before. Truly, this is a perfect everyday bag. And suddenly, this bag solved the problem where people say that you can't wear your Chanel bag as an everyday bag because they are just not practical. Just like the Chanel 19, I did not buy this bag right away either. I also waited for 2 years before I joined the Chanel 22 family. This was my birthday bag. This bag was from 24C, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check that. If it's wrong, I'll put it out on the screen. And I have to say, I love this pink shade so much. It is such a pop color. Makes me so happy looking at it. The leather on the Chanel 22 is shiny calfskin. At least mine should be the shiny calfskin. For the small size, it has a magnetic closure and it also has a pouch like this. But to be honest, I don't really use this pouch. Also guys, there's something else I want to share with you guys here. If you own the Chanel 22 bag, you definitely need to invest in this leather protector. I don't know if you guys still remember when this bag first launched, there were so many people actually complaining about how the leather at this corner where the chain came out was like rubbing and has a lot of corner wear. I feel like this is kind of like a design flaw that you can't really avoid it because this is where the chain comes out. You can imagine over time when you carry this bag, this chain is going to rub against the leather here, and eventually you will see rubbing here. And to solve this problem, if you own a 22 bag, you really need to invest in this little leather protector piece or PU piece. Can you see there is like a snap button closure here? So the way that it works is that you put it under the chain and you clip in the snap button, and then you tuck the whole thing into the opening here where the chain comes out. So now this piece of the protector acts as like a little protector, so your chain is now not touching directly to the leather of the bag. This is how you save your bag from having the corner wear or rubbing from your chain strap. Whoever designed this, the person is such genius. Never in a million years, I don't think I can think of something like that as a solution to protect your bag. Kudos to the person who came out with this genius invention. I feel like Chanel should probably actually included this piece of the protector for every Chanel 22 bag, don't you think so? Okay, what do I like about this bag if you ask? I think I just like the fact that this is like a giant hole. You can basically just chuck everything in, anything that you want to carry with you on the day. I have used this bag as a travel bag before, and my experience is only positive. I remember I worn this once to a family event, and since then, every time they see me, they will ask me,
How's the Chanel 22? Remember that pink striking bag that you wore the other day? How is it now? I haven't seen it.
so this is the only Chanel bag in my collection that made the impression. And in terms of the resale, since we want to touch on this, the resale value I think is much better than the Chanel 19 for sure. But even then, if you talk about Chanel 22 bag, I think these days people would want the Chanel 22 in the mini size instead, which I don't have it. And me myself, I actually do want to add a Chanel 22 mini at some point eventually, but I'm not in a rush, especially now Chanel made the chain strap of the Mini 22 detachable. You guys know how much I love about detachable chain strap. One thing though, I don't know if Chanel has also added this magnetic closure on the mini bag. Guys, this magnetic closure is my biggest pet peeve with the Mini 22 bag. I mean, how hard it is to just add a magnetic closure to the bag, right? It makes the bag feels more secure. And that was the reason why I actually went for the Mini 31 instead of the Mini 22, because the Mini 31 actually do come with the Chanel CC turn lock. Somehow it just feels more secure to me. So the Chanel 22, love, love, love. Super practical, very lightweight, easy to use. I really love it for that. But it still can't escape the reality that nothing is forever. It was definitely the it bag for a few years. Everybody wants it until the Chanel 25 comes along. As the name suggested, the Chanel 25 launched in 2025. When this bag first came out, I don't think Chanel actually named it 25. I think Chanel initially called it the hobo bag, and then eventually we start to see a lot of campaign about this bag, and that's when they call it the Chanel 25 bag. You can really see the direction of Chanel going with this design. I think it really continues the idea of the Chanel 22 bag, focusing more on the functionality, the practicality, and the versatility. But this time, the 25 bag, it does feel a little bit more refined and sophisticated compared to a simple tote drawstring bag like this. The Chanel 25, if you don't know, it is the last design from Virginie before she departed in 2024. Even though the bag was launched in 2025, but we already see this bag from the runway when she was still at Chanel. I really like the Chanel 25 still kind of preserve the classic element of Chanel, especially the leather woven chain, like, the classic diamond quilting. And if you have been following me for a while, I probably really sounds like a broken record now talking about how awesome is the Chanel 25 bag. And believe it or not, the Chanel 25 bag is the only bag that I jumped on it right away. As soon as I saw it on the runway, I knew that I really want this bag. And this is the only bag that not only I get it in the small size, I also got it in the mini size. That just tells you how much I love this bag. I think there's something about this design that makes me can't stop reaching for this bag. I don't know if it's because this bag sort of it has a base compared to the Mini 2 bag, even though both has like a really wide opening, which is the bag design that I lean towards these days. But with the more structure base, I just find it easier to look for things. Like with this one, you just open the bag and you can sort of like see everything that is in your bag easier compared to a deep hole like this. With the 22 bag, sometimes I do need to kind of like take my things out in order to reach for the things that are sitting really, really at the bottom of the bag. Also, the 25 bag, you see, it sits nicely when you put it down on the surface, whereas the 22 bag just feels like a sag. Well, it's standing upright now, but often it's not very easy to make the bag standing upright, especially when you have items inside, because they are often like, different shapes and sizes. I don't think I want to elaborate more on the Chanel 25 bag because I already talked about this bag so much in my other video. I just can't have enough of the Chanel 25 bag. That's all I'm gonna say. And I don't think I need to answer the question, do I use them? Absolutely yes. The biggest question for this Chanel 25 bag is that it is hot right now. Everybody kind of wants it, but give it a few years time. Do you think it will end up being like the same as the Chanel 22 and the Chanel 19? I think I'll leave that to you to answer. The final verdict. What actually happened to all the Chanel bag after the hype is gone? Like I said before, the Chanel 19, no one talks about it anymore. I don't think people are still buying this from the store at least, and you definitely can find a bargain right now on the resale market. For the Chanel 22 bag, I don't use it as much now, even though I love this bag, but that is because I am now reaching for my 25 bag. These two are my favorite children in my collection right now. But I don't think it's because this is the best bag, I wouldn't say. I think it's simply just because the Chanel 25 fits my lifestyle at the moment. To be honest, the truth is every Chanel bag feels perfect when it is the current one. And over the time, people change, their tastes change, the lifestyle changes, and the needs change as well. And at the end of the day, it's still fashion. I feel fashion is always evolving. In fashion, I don't think anything is timeless. And that was my opinion. So what do you think? Do you think the Chanel 25 will last, or do you think the 25 will follow the same destiny as the 22 and the 19 bag? In a few years' time, no one's going to talk about the 25 anymore. But for now, I am really enjoying my 25. If Chanel has taught us anything, Chanel is telling us there will always be another 8 bag coming, and we can never finish chasing all the trend. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoy my talking video. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!